How's it going, everyone? Hope everyone had a great day. Beginning of the week, we had a churn in the 60-minute market on metals on the charts, 60-minute charts, and then it built from there. Today we got an interest rate hike, and then all of a sudden, kaboom. So here's the dollar coming down, pretty bearish looking. Previously, we had a cross above 34. We had this nice inverted hammer. Then it came back into support with a 2-bar pattern, came back, had a couple 3 bars here, ending with a standard hammer. Came back into support, made a double top. Came all the way back down into support, the bullish retracement with a nice hammer. Came back into resistance, and today got totally rejected. So, lo and behold, now we have a lower high, and this thing can still turn around. It's not in no man's land. It just barely crossed support lines and can be construed as still inside the pattern. So be careful, as this can double back and then bust through. But pretty telling bearish candle, encompassing plenty of previous candles. So, and closing on its lows. So we'll see if we can get a continuation out of this on the downside. That would help precious metals quite a bit. Further the cause. Surprisingly, S&P and the Dow and the NASDAQ all were up. Let's see how that VIX turned out. While we're looking at it, VIX came back down. Nice hammer almost. A little wick on top, but came down and then recovered. Pretty nice. Right now on S&P, we have a lower high closing. We got a higher low. We're inside the pattern. This peak today gave us the opposing point that we wanted to make the pattern. So trade outside the pattern. Let's see, the Dow still trying to get into resistance. Has a double bottom, but so far being rejected once and rejected twice, closing below resistance lines, and that resistance here is the gap. So we'll have to see for a continuation, but right now we're still going off of this 2-bar reversal off the top here. It's got to get above that resistance line and upside the upwards on top of that gap. Looks like it busted through and got rejected just a tiny bit. So I'm still contending that this is the bearish retracement pattern, but we'll see. There we go. NASDAQ took another step up. Plenty of support at 54 now. So watch for prices come back into support. It could just keep going and then come back in. But right now, we're above support. So quite amazing. They raise interest rates, making money a lot more expensive. This looks like a hyperinflation move for the equities. Still waiting for that blow off. I didn't see anything yet on today's candles. But S&P is caught below resistance. Dow Jones is caught below resistance. And NASDAQ is above resistance. So we'll see how this works out. Moving on to Shanghai Exchange. It looks like it's building pretty good. It's holding its own. Came back in. Came into support. Got rejected so far, but hanging 10 on that the EMA 8. So closing above previous highs so far. Resistance, holding support. Let's look at, see where we end up on the weekly. Looks like a punch into resistance, came all the way back in. Now it's trying to punch through again. So we'll see how this ends up. Looks like a nice little cup and handle. Little cup, little handle, and then a punch through. See how that works out. Looks like a double back, bearish move, double top, plus a bearish encompassing. So now we got a larger two top. We got a reversal here. We got a reversal here we still need to take out. So it's in the channel still. We'll have to figure that out here soon, but definitely rejected off a double top right here. Was it a punch in and then a throwback? We'll find out real soon. Closing on its lows, closing below 50%, closing below the 8. We'll have to figure this one out. Sorry, I got interrupted, but anyways, we're in the channel. Watch for this to come back into support. It looks like it's crossing over the 8 one more time, so I think it might be the final time it might come back through. Maybe at the gap or at the end of the gap. I got the Nikkei. Looks like that put in a double top as well. Working a double top. Let's see. Yeah, got a double top on the daily, closing below previous highs. Gapped through previous highs. It's coming into support now. See what happens. We got support previous highs over here. Crude. Looks like crude bounced right off of where it's supposed to. There you go. You got your upward trend line. Nice upward trend line bounce. Let's see if it'll hold. It's got a lot of resistance on the way up. After the breakdown, you got it the 1. Resistance here. Previous lows. Back into the previous lows. And then you got to break previous highs. So lots of work. It did break down pretty heavy. Almost straight down, it seemed like. But nice bounce off of support. And for the week, almost a hammer. Let's see if we can get a little push out of this thing by Friday. Get a little hammer right off of support. Pretty amazing where that support line always ends up, right? Coal. Looks like coal is bouncing. I have a balance point that it could come all the way back into, but right now it's missing the line. It's got a double bottom working. It's got to break previous highs, go into previous lows. Got plenty of resistance on the way up after the breakdown. Same as it's coal or crude. Looks like we got a bullish piercing pattern off of off the weekly chart. Looks like a opened in for the week. Now it's closing over the previous candle, which is a very bullish candle move. It's just a head fake on the downside, and then they punch it through. It's over previous highs. It's got to get over this previous high and then work for the top. That is a nice reversal right off of support. You got the double bottom. Bullish piercing pattern. Definitely piercing 50% of the previous candle, almost encompassing the whole candle. Pretty nice move on the weekly chart so far. And there you go. Nice hammer and the continuation, knocking out the bottom. That's a beautiful little candle right there. So closing on its highs too. Closing above previous highs over here. We got a gap for resistance here. Get above previous highs over here. And then we're off and running to make a steal. Another runner. Close above the 8 and the 34. Nice bounce. Nice reversal bar. Could still turn into a bearish retracement after the cross into resistance and then back off. It's not a perfect science, but always look for the moves across the 34. Hopefully it'll hold. Looks like a good 6% move today. Gold. Nice moves. The topsy-turvy deal right here that I was watching very carefully. And then the flat top break. Close above previous highs. So we had a bottom. We had a continuation into resistance, which was the previous lows. And that got crushed, but it ended up being a inverted hammer. Aside from the little wick, had that inverted hammer look. Came down to a point, came up to a point, came back into support, continued support, and then we found an opposing point. And then this thing just took off today. Over the 8. That's our first resistance that we need to get over. Look for support, for prices to come back into support, and then gather its legs and punch right on through. And it looks like today it's opening down so far. So, or where are we? Closing, opening down for the day so far for tomorrow futures market. Let's see. Now, this is where it gets important on the weekly charts. We want to get this thing. We got a higher low bounce right off the 8. It's going to come into resistance here soon. It's already at resistance, so maybe it'll punch through and we'll get a reversal, 50% of the previous candle. But right now, perfect bounce, lower high, right over the 8. On the daily, look for it to come into support and bounce. It's not over the 34 yet, so we're not out of the woods. We need to get above the 34, consolidate above the 34 so we can change this. How long's it been? 3 months for the downturn? I don't know. We need to get out of this little funk. We had a bullish move last year, came through, and now we're moving up. Now we have an opposing point. That's the other thing that's important. Now we have a pattern. Now we have a pattern. Inside the pattern. It could easily come make a taller or a more shallow opposing point before it moves higher. So watch for that. Hold support lines. Pretty bullish move right across that 8 again. So look for it to come into resistance here sooner or later. But we got a resistance here and here and here. And that's where it got stopped out today. 1220 was the mark. I didn't notice that. 1220 is the mark. We need to get about 1220 on those intraday charts. Those are big marks. Yeah, above trend on the daily. Silver, same thing. Nice bullish move into the 8. Watch for retracement back into support. 17 is now support, previous highs. Hopefully this thing is about done with its retracement, which would be nice. And then weekly, we got a double bottom working. We need to get above the 8 like gold is. Looks like a really fast and sweet pullback. Let's see if we can get this thing back into previous lows, into previous highs, and pop out of this little wreck that we were in for a little while, little detour. Copper. Copper's retracing on its bearish moves. Looks like a bearish retracement so far. On the weekly, at least. Daily, it looks like a pretty bullish move into resistance. That could be a left shoulder, head, the V bottom, and then a right shoulder. And needed that opposing point to make that right shoulder come in. Look for prices to come back into support, buy into support, and take a ride. Let's go to the miners. The miners are primed and ready. I hope I gave you guys enough heads up as to, you know, the hourly build up. We had that hourly push, right? And then it came into support, and then today it just right out of the gates, right? We have a 3-bar pattern here right off of support. Broke previous highs, and then it was off and running. Pretty nice, pretty nice. So for the daily, through time, making a little higher low here, popped across the 8, came back into support, right? And then popped into the 13. Usually this is a very bullish move as it crossed previous lines of resistance. Usually it pops the 13 and then comes back into support one more time. But this one popped right through the 13. So look for prices to hang 10 as we got support on previous lows. Right? Everyone see that? So we got support now. Upwards to 250. Let's just call it 250 just to be even. So it looks pretty nice. Pretty good move. Right off that hammer. Continuation. Broke previous highs. Took out the hammer, right? Took out the hammer. Reversal bars have support and resistance. That's why they're reversal bars. The reverse was a confirmation of the hammer on the upside. And lo and behold, there it was. Pretty nice bottom. Okay, so now can you see the right shoulder? Left, head, right shoulder's complete. Now we're coming off of this. This thing should get explosive. Explosive. These right shoulders completing now. Right? Now look at that hammer. I mean, you cannot go wrong with these things. Broke previous highs. Boom. How far was GDX? 12%? No problem. We are at resistance. Look for prices to come back in to gather its legs and try again. If it's as bullish as it seems, we got 2 hammers here off the bottoms. This thing's going to come screaming across that 34, no problem. Here we come. Nugget, same thing. Nice bullish move, double bottom. Not the hammer like the other ones, but has that same action. Previous high breaks, take a hike. No problem, no problem. Closing above previous highs, closing on its highs. We need to get up into previous lows. Upwards to previous lows, we can hit that mark by the end of the week. Hit that mark, just smack it. Smack it, come back in for an opposing point. Make our line, cross that 34 in the next week. Shoot, I'm as bullish as this seems. And let's see why not. I can't do it by Friday. But that's just me talking because I am biased. JNUG. Now, JNUG, I was supposed to buy this morning, and I'm not acclimated to the time change yet. Because in Arizona, we don't change time. So I have to get up an hour earlier, and I just stay up too late, screwing around. I got a reversal bar here. You see the inverted hammer coming across that support line. That busted through, came back to support, busted through. Nice hammer over support, making our opposing point. Confirm that hammer on the upside. That was your cue, 643. If I wasn't just staring at it, watching it go by, seriously, just out of my mind, wondering what the hell am I doing 10 minutes later when it was up 30%. Oh, I missed it. I saw it coming and I missed it. It could still even even when I knew it was going to happen, even when I had all the right things in place, I still missed it. Previous high break at 7. Now we got support at 7. It's breaking into previous lows. Look for this to come back in. That's my plan from now on. I'm looking for this to come back in. Let's take a closer look at 15-minute chart. I'm looking at a falling star right here on the 15-minute chart. I'm looking for this to come into support, in and around 7. If it goes through 7 and busts back up above 7, I'm in. That's where I'm in. Little whipsaw over under 7, over 7. When it comes back over 7, I'm in. Also, I'm looking for reversal bars and volume. That's a 15-minute chart. No reversal bars so far on the hourly. But I swear I was on this. I was going to buy a mid-June option and just let it ride. I could have sold this today and made so much money. It's just one of those things where, what an idiot. Bitcoin. I'm really liking trading the Bitcoin alt currencies. It's more of a free market. When something breaks, you don't have this ass of a market maker jumping on the bid to hold it down or to give you that nice sharp pullback, or the commercials coming up when they're done sacking everyone and taking all their longs, jumping on the ask and carrying it up, and just total manipulation because of the big boys. Cash. I really like the way the altcoins are trading, because once it breaks, there's no dumbass with a market maker to carry it down. So to pick up shares on the cheap. That's why I quit trading years ago, is because everything was so grossly manipulated by when the commercials got involved after a 2008 crash. It's just not a free market at all. But anyways, Bitcoin up again with the interest rate hike. I don't know if this means anything, but with the interest rate hike, Bitgold continued to go higher. So I guess the interest rate hike, to me, this is just me thinking, devalued the dollar, made stocks cheaper, therefore went higher, and Bitgold went higher because its balance between the dollar Bitcoin ratio was slaughtered. So I suspect that interest rates are not going to hold this thing back. Same with gold and silver. And it's a good market to be in. Gold, silver, and Bitcoin with higher interest rates, inflation coming. And I believe that's why they raised interest rates, because inflation's getting out of hand. They're going to put a stop to it. But if we have runaway inflation, there's no way to stop it. So we'll see what happens. But all this has to do is break previous highs, and it's off and running again. It's way above previous highs. It's way above 1160, the previous high break. That was a huge cup and handle. So I imagine this is going to take a measured move. It's going to continue. Let's get a longer term chart so we can look at this. I believe a measured move is in effect after that break. We had the break, we had the comeback, and now it's exploding back out. The measured move is 1160 to the bottom spike, anyone with the calculator can figure this out, I guess. It's about $1,100 move, huh? So take a measured move. Take the high, the low of the pattern, and take a measured move. And I believe cup and handles are time and a half. So a measured move and a half. So we'll see where this ends up. But I'm glad I got some Bitcoin. Someone paid me in some Bitcoin, and it's increased in value pretty much since I got it. Seems like. So fiat currencies is not where it's at. They're going to continue to have problems in the debt crisis. So get out of fiat, get into something more stable. And it's funny they called it unstable. These politicians never look in the mirror, I swear. Where are we at here? Cliff on a monthly, it's got a bullish pattern across the 34. We're just waiting for this retracement. And Cliff is one of my favorite movers. So we broke down, got a double bottom now. Broke through the 8, hit resistance. Look for this to come back into the 8, gather its legs, and try over that 34 and 13 all at the same time. Or it could just bust into the 8 and then retrace back into support, which if we get a continuation out of this, the previous high is considered the support. So if we get a continuation, look for resistance at the previous lows, come back in, and hold support. Support line's got to hold. You got previous highs, you got previous lows, and all the mix right there. Let's get a continuation out of Cliff. Let's get out of this hole that was dug. And AG, nice 2-bar reversal. Nice. That's the slingshot effect. The AB bottom. They bring it down to a bottom, and then they spike it low, and then they release the trigger, and it bounces like a monster. There you go. That's what happens. Closing above the 8, look for support. Coming into support, if we get any lack, looks like gold and silver is still coming down just a tiny bit for the daily open. But we got support. We got a 2-bar pattern reversal. We got support at previous lows. We got these gap supports. Came into this gap right here. So look for the fill to the gap, back into resistance, come back into support. Let's get a continuation out of this tomorrow. That's a closing on its highs, continuation looking kind of pattern. Weekly. Oh, look at that weekly candle on AG. That's a little badass candle right there. Long wick. Long wick. Little hammer. Higher low, long wicked hammer. Now you can see that right shoulder was brought way back. Now we got an opposing point. We got a pattern. Let's get a continuation on the upside. That is knocking out the bottom. That is a very bullish candle. All we got to do is confirm it on the upside. You open up tomorrow on this, take a ride. Yep. That's all you got to do, because this hammer is support. The top of it's support, and the bottom of it is the last lines of support. If this came back through. Reversal bars have support and resistance lines at the top and bottom of them. So let's keep this trend line on the way up. That is a nice reverse head and shoulders. Just a real drastic, volatile looking thing. It's huge. Gotta love it. Nice hammer. Nice, nice, nice. Got 2 more days on that hammer to close though. 2-bar reversal. See this 2-bar reversal? That is the hammer on the weekly. Right? You got that? So look for those 2-bar reversals. Look for the longer term. Look for the shorter term. See what kind of candles that makes. So you can be on the 5-minute chart and be like, oh, that might be making a hammer on the weekly. You know, you can get so intuitive that way. So you don't have to look at the weekly, you just know. And okay, we got a little bottom on this one too, hammer. Let's keep to the daily so we can see the pop. 2-bar reversal, there you go again. Making a hammer on the weekly. This one was brought down really, really hard and fast. It's hugging support here, and once that, or hugging resistance here, once it breaks resistance, it could get pretty violent on the upside. So I'm not saying it's going to go all the way back up to where it was, but you might get a nice pop into resistance, come back into support kind of deal. You can trade this from a bottom and then ride it to the top. Back and forth, back and forth. USLV. Nice reversal bar encompassing 1, 2, 3, 4 days. That's a huge reversal bar. Uranium, you even had a good day. Got a 2-bar reversal here that was rejected, a higher low, busted through. Hitting resistance now. Look for coming back into support and ride it even higher. UEC, same thing. UEC broke the 13. So we have a double bottom here already. That was leading the pack, it looks like. It hit previous lows and backed into a support. So look for this to come back into support, gather its legs, and try again. We still might need an opposing point too on this too. So look for that. There's another hammer. It's hammer time, man. Come on. Look at the double bottom hammer. Double bottom hammer. It broke previous highs and came back into support. Take out that hammer. You got support on that hammer. Anything on the upside, I would take a ride. And just one more everyone wants to know about. Ivanhoe. That looks bullish. Crossing down. I'm not sure about this spike because someone had a fat finger. Came across, came bearish retrace, 2-bar reversal, came into support. Held support for 3 days, came back into the 8 and 13, came back into support. We are at support, and then all of a sudden it hit resistance today. Look for a continuation flat top breaks. 330 and above. Look at the price action in between those resistance lines, the 8 and 13. Back through, back in. Look at that inverted hammer. You can't miss these things. Back through, back in, pop. Look for a flat top break. Actually, let's do flat top break at I don't know. Just pay attention to volume. That's bullish right outside the gates. It's confirming that inverted hammer over support. So you got a bullish move coming. I think all the miners are doing the same thing. So I'll keep it short, keep it sweet. And I don't see anything else down there that I want to bother with as far as anything important. AG was the silver. CLF is the steel, iron ore. We got the uraniums covered. I think that's good. Good. All the miners. So, here we go. Are we in another bull run? Coming from a bottom. Coming from a bottom. I'll see you guys. Please donate if you made some money. If you enjoy these videos, please share. Please follow me on Steemit, whatever it is. It seems to me that if I can get a good viewership over there, I can make money that YouTube is not dishing out. YouTube got really cheap lately. So, anyways, I got a donation little button, PayPal button on my channel. Front page. If you want to deliver Bitcoin, that's awesome. a little coin will do you, I guess. But share, like, and comment. Let me know what's going out there. Let me know that you're making it. Someone had a comment that the AG, my comments about AG was disheartening. But I just want to I just want to throw caution to all you guys, because this is going to get real volatile. So if you don't have the stomach for it, it's going to get wacky. You got to love it, though. We're all gamblers. This is not an investment arena. We are trading this thing until the top breaks. We are coming from a bottom. So I'll see you guys.